Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Vayechi. I'm not a fan of declaring whether a new invention or technology is good or bad for mankind. I don't think physical objects can be categorized as good or bad in a philosophical sense. Physical objects are tools. How they are used define their status of whether they're good or not. Every object in this world can be either used to advance or hinder man's perfection. Other objects should never be the focus of our attention. Rather, man's perfection should be. The idea of banning new technologies or inventions is foreign to me, and I think foreign to the Torah. In this Dvar Torah, I'll explain how objects in this world can't be described as good or bad, and rather their uses define their status. I'll prove my points from Yaakov's blessings of Binyamin in our Sedra. I hope this Dvar Torah gives the viewer an appreciation for the blessings and dangers the world around us presents. In our Sedra, Yaakov lies on his deathbed and blesses his family for the very last time. To Binyamin, he says, and forgive me for reading, Binyamin is a predatory wolf. In the morning he devours the prey, and at night he divides the spoil. Rashi explains that Yaakov is referring to Binyamin's descendants, like King Shaul, Mordechai, and Esther, who will do battle on behalf of the Jewish people. Describing Binyamin as a predator seems awfully similar, though, to the description that we have of Yishmael, a man whose hand is in everybody's objects. How could Yaakov describe Binyamin in the same way that his grandfather Avram had described, or really Hashem had described Yishmael? The Torah bans certain objects like food or idols. We don't believe these items to be inherently evil, just that God forbade them. Sometimes we understand the reason they are banned, other times we don't. It's easy to assume that anything that God banned is inherently evil, but the evidence doesn't support such a contention. In fact, at times, forbidden foods are not only permissible to eat, but we are commanded to eat them, for instance, in the case of a life-saving situation. It's very hard to believe that something that we are commanded to eat could be inherently evil or dangerous for us. Some objects are banned because they lend themselves to evil uses. Any illicit substance fits into this category. Even though in specific situations illicit substances can be used for beneficial purposes, it's the same way that beneficial substances could be used in illicit reasons, and yet they're still beneficial. We are warned to avoid illicit substances for the harm that they tend to cause. We find a verse in Hosea that states, "Whoever is wise, let him understand these things. Whoever is prudent, let him know them. For the ways of God are right, and the righteous walk in them, and the transgressors stumble with them." Our sages learn that we can involve ourselves in ideas that can lead to nefarious actions. For the righteous will use these ideas for good, and the evil for bad. Yaakov's description of Binyamin as a predator wasn't negative. Binyamin's descendants acted in a predatory fashion to protect the Jewish people. Yishmael, though, acted as a predator to harm the Jewish people. It's all in the manner of which we use our talents. Sometimes they'll be used for good, sometimes for bad. We try to use everything that we have around us as a way and a manner of perfecting ourselves. Shabbat Shalom.